Hi, this is Matt from Audio Plugin Deals. Today we're checking out the HALion Power Bundle from dvCompTools. Let's have a look at it. The HALion Power Bundle consists of Hybrid Hit and Transverse, both of which from dvCompTools. Now these are both Steinberg HALion instruments, but as you can see here, I'm choosing to work with Ableton Live, basically just to demonstrate that these aren't locked to Cubase. So essentially they work in any DAW capable of loading VSTs. You just need to get the free HALion Sonic Player, and that's available from the Steinberg website. First we'll look at a Hybrid Hit, which specializes in impacts and hits, and generally sounds of that kind of nature, and it's perfect for cinematic work, or video games, or anything to be honest. Now first, let's go through some of the presets so you get a feel of what to expect. Here the first one we have is Age of Machines. So I think even just by that one example you get a feel of kind of where this is headed. Next let's choose Alien Assassin. Atmospheric Atom. And as you can hear, there's some velocity modulation going on, which I'll explain later. I really like that. That could be my favorite. As you can hear, they are absolutely huge. Let's do a few more. I think this one actually is a very good example of what it's capable of. Just listen to the different layers going on. They're all very discrete, so you can really pick them out quite easily. You can really get some incredibly complex sounds going on. Let's go 3 more. Skid Row. Spilling Blood. Quench the Madness. And 2 more Zombie Magnet. And final one, Transhuman Trails. That was a nice one to finish on. Right, so now I've given you an idea of what it's capable of, let's build our own. So if we go up to the init presets, we have several types here. So we have a complete initialized, not quite sure why there are 2 there, but nevertheless. Then we have ones that are specifically aimed at a type of sound. So we have ones that are basically set up for impact, for a kick, percussion, sequence, etc. And all that means is that the parameters are basically pre-configured to be halfway to creating these sounds. But let's go a full initialized. So each preset is made up of 3 layers. So we have layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3 here. And each of these layers can be a different type of sound. So in layer 3, we currently have an attack, but we can choose a generator. That's essentially an oscillator. We can load a sample, we have the attack like I said, or we can have a noise oscillator. Let's skip back over to layer 1, which is set to generator. We can change the shape of that, so it's currently set to a sine. We can go through, make it a square, triangle, whatever we want. I'm going to change this to a sample though, and then we're going to choose one of the sounds. Let's go, it's currently set to impact 1. That sounds quite good. Let's try, I don't know, completely random, impacts 3, 9. Good, let's keep it like that. To the right of that we have the modulation section, which provides control over the voicing, such as velocity curves and having fixed velocity. Now let's skip over to the velocity section, and here is where you'll spend quite a lot of your time having quite a bit of fun. So now we have the velocity controlling these parameters here. So obviously the harder I hit, it will trigger a different sample start position, or a different pitch position for example. At the moment it's set to 0, so it's not going to do anything. Let's turn it up quite substantially. And then sample start, let's turn it up also. And then filter, let's turn it down perhaps. Now let's hit the key quite softly. We have that. And then hard. You can hear. You can now hear the variation in those sounds. Let's turn filter up also. And then also give it a bit of decay when the key is pressed hard as well. Now we're getting there. So a soft hit, sounds like so, or a hard hit, like so. Next we have the LFO section, which is quite self-explanatory. We can change the shape of the LFO up the top here, and the rate, etc. Let's turn this on. Let's go tempo and retrig. Let's go a bit faster, 1/8 for now, and then we'll put this on, let's do pitch just to demonstrate. And then why not? Just because I'm having fun, let's put on filter also. Next we have the envelope section. So here we can determine the envelope curve here, how that applies to these parameters. So we can turn pitch up, we can turn amplitude up, and then the filter up also. This is in addition to the velocity controls and the LFO that we had earlier. And let's give it more of an attack. So we'll turn down the sustain, and we'll give it a bit of a shorter release like so. Or conversely, let's give it a longer decay and turn sustain up, which means that this impact will be less because our sustain is up. Below that we have our amp, so here we have an attack and decay, and the curve for that shape also. It can be synced to clock also, so rather than dialing in the decay based on milliseconds or time, we can sync it to clock. Let's keep it in time though for now, drop the curve down a bit, or we can increase it. And then in addition we have a transient shaper here just to bring out more punch in the attack. And then to the right of that we have the filter with all the usual suspects, so low pass, high pass, band reject. There's also a comb filter there, which is surprising and very useful to have. Let's go to layer 2, let's turn that up because it's quite down, it was at -12 dB. And then here we'll put this on, let's go with noise. And here we are going to go to voice and put a fixed velocity, put it up around there perhaps. Each layer can have its own set of effects. So if we click on effects here and then click on layer 1, we can add the effects here. So let's put a overdrive, crank that up, output up, and mix quite a bit up as well. And then just for fun, let's try what a resonator sounds like on it. Let's go to layer 2, and I'm going to put that resonator also on here. And take it off layer 1. So let's close out of there, let's go to the main section, and here you have another set of effects for the master outputs. So currently we have a compressor, a maximizer, and an EQ. I'm going to swap the EQ for a reverb. Let's turn the ratio up on the comp, make up a little bit up, threshold down, and maximizer up, soft clip on, which is good. And on, let's go back to the layer section. On layer 3 I don't have anything yet, so let's put this on to a generator. We have a sine wave. Let's give this quite a strong attack. So let's turn the sustain down, turn the decay down, and amplitude up, pitch up also, to give it the kick kind of feel. Next, let's head over to the sequencer. So here in the step sequencer, we have 3 different sequences, one obviously for each layer. So let's turn it off for layer 1 and off for layer 3. I'm only going to use it for a noise oscillator in layer 2. So as you can hear, it plays the kick initially, then it tails out with the noise oscillator. Go to velocity, and we will do something random like that. And we'll go back to layer 2, velocity, and we have this on pitch, which is good. Let's also give it something wacky like resonance perhaps. Put this on a bandpass. And then we'll also do something random on the loop length. Steps is on 16th, which is fine. And just to finish this off, we have 2 step modulation slots. So let's go step mod A. Once again, something random, just like that. And then we're going to cross to step depth. And then we're going to assign step depth to Han. Then for number 2, let's put this on filter. I need to draw in a curve there also. So now we have some panning going on, as well as the filter modulation also. Let's add some more slots, give it a bit more of a groove, shall we? Pretty cool. So as you can see, Hybrid Hit is essentially a one-stop shop for all your impacts, hits, and just general cinematic percussion. So now let's move on to Transverse. And once again, Transverse is exactly the same. It is a HALion instrument that can be used in any DAW, just like I have here in Ableton. Now Transverse, as its name would hint at, specializes in reverse sounds and transitions and rises essentially. And just like I did with Hybrid Hit, let's listen to some presets to get an idea of what to expect. Let's start with R reverse. This one here is a good example of what this does. It is a riser sound, obviously, but you can hear the individual layers very discreetly, and you can hear the modulation going on quite clearly also. Pretty cool. I think if you use risers in your tracks or in your productions, then this is very clearly becoming a must-have. Now where Transverse excels is that it's designed specifically for transition types of sounds. And by that I mean it isn't just simply a bunch of noise samples loaded into a standard sampler. Instead it features parameters such as this one here, which is sync time and sync count, so that your riser automatically ends exactly where you want it to, where you set it. So essentially the focus is on the end point of every sound rather than the start, as would be the case in a conventional synth, if that makes sense. And as you might imagine, this is a massive workflow improvement over rendering out the audio, time aligning it, fine-tuning it, which can be a bit of a faff, to be honest. And doing it all within this synth is just, it's a dream, to be honest. So let's choose one again at random. Predator Reverse sounds intriguing. Currently that is set to 1 bar here, and it's set to 2. So that means 2 multiples of 1 bar. So obviously that's going to be 2 bars. We can lengthen that to be a 4 bar riser. Or we can shorten it to be a 1/4 bar, for example. We only want 1/4 bar. There we go. So it's just so easy to do. Let's put it back onto 1. and we'll do 1 count of that, so it's 1 bar, and we'll adjust the curve. So we'll turn that quite a way up, or we can turn that quite a way down, and you can hear it go quite exponential to logarithmic as I adjust this. Should we not wish to work in time divisions, we can click on here and we can change it to a fixed millisecond time. So here we have it set to 2 milliseconds, or 2 seconds I should say, sorry. But let's go back to beat division, 1 bar, and like I said, let's create our own, or modify this one instead perhaps. So at the top we have our filter, so cutoff and resonance, no surprises there, with all our usual suspects for shapes. Then below that we have our 3 oscillators, or 3 sound sources I should say. So the first one is a metallic output, the second one is a digital output, and the third is a analog output. Let's listen to just the metallic one, so let's turn the second and third layers off. The first layer can also be set to a sample. So if we go up here to custom, we can see the sample that's currently loaded in. We can load our own. Let's go up to here and go digilock perhaps, and let's give this one a bit of drive. So that's sounding quite good. Let's turn our digital layer on. We'll turn off our sample or our metallic layer. We can choose the variation here. Once again, a bit of drive, not as much as the first one, just a touch. So currently this is set to noise, but we can change it to a digital oscillator should we wish, by clicking this little button. So I think what I'm going to do is leave this on as a noise, to give it that traditional riser feeling. And then on the third one, on the analog, that one we'll put to the analog oscillator. Turn it on, obviously. And then here, let's put this onto a bandpass, I think. Let's go to our curves. And then here, let's go to digital. And we'll put this on, let's go with amp, and maybe pitch also. And maybe analog also, because just it sounds so good. Back to the main page. We'll turn on our sample layer. Give it a bit of stereo spread to spread out the 3 different layers. Bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. Let's go to our effects section here. Let's check those. So they look okay for reverb. Delay 1/4 dotted, that's fine. Let's give a bit more low cut and a bit more high cut, so just in the mids. So there we go, transverse from dvCompTools. And I think if you have transition or risers in your music, let's face it, most modern music does, then this will be a complete revelation for your workflow. Not only is it super easy to use and completely foolproof, you just know your transitions will be unique. So go check out the bundle at Audio Plugin Deals and have fun, I'm sure you will. 2 awesome products. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with something else. We'll see you then, bye.